Hello again, I'm James Bays. China's long been an ally of Iran, ties forged in times of peace rather than war. Since the US and Israel began their attacks, Tehran's alliance with Beijing has been put to the test. The conflict is existential for Iran, but for China it presents other challenges. Like the rest of the world, it's exposed to global economic shocks. But analysts say prudent planning means it's better prepared than most to cope for now. On the diplomatic front, the picture is complicated. Beijing may be an ally of Iran, but it's also trying to maintain good relations with Gulf states, but they've been targeted by Iranian attacks. And then there's US President Donald Trump, how to confront him while seeking to defuse the crisis and before doing battle with him over trade. So how is China and its international standing faring in the war? We'll try to find out from our guests in just a moment. But first, this report from Imran Ullah Khan.
The US and Israel's war on Iran has sent global oil and energy prices soaring. And China, the world's second largest economy and major energy importer, has a vested interest in how the war plays out. China imports about 33% of its oil from the Middle East, and 90% of Iranian crude oil exports are destined for China. It's a big buyer of liquid natural gas as well, and gets about 30% of its supply from the region. Normally, all of that is shipped through the Strait of Hormuz. But China's diplomatic and economic diversity has protected it from feeling the full effects of wartime disruptions to energy supplies. It also imports from Australia, Central Asia, Russia, parts of South America, and Africa. And reports indicate that before the war, China already had a massive petroleum reserve. Some analysts estimate that stockpiles may be up to 1.3 billion barrels. Last year, China launched a direct freight railway to Iran. The 3,150-kilometer line starts in western China and passes through Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, before finally reaching the Iranian capital of Tehran. Beijing's concerns go beyond the economy. Earlier this month, it vetoed a UN Security Council resolution to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
It doesn't even touch upon the root cause of the situation. And then in a very unbalanced manner, only accuse Iran. And also, I want to emphasize, in particular, the timing is very bad. We all heard what the US president has said. And against this background, we think it is extremely dangerous for the Security Council to adopt a resolution like this.
Some U.S. media are also reporting that Iran may have purchased Chinese spy satellites to target Washington's military bases around the Middle East, though Tehran denies the accusation. U.S. President Donald Trump is scheduled to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing in May, but that meeting has already been delayed before. The war is already dominating the agenda of that meeting, whenever it takes place. Imran Ullah Khan, Al Jazeera, for Inside Story.
It is a complex picture. Let's get more detail from our guests who are joining us for today's Inside Story. From Washington, D.C., Doug Bandow, a senior fellow at the Cato Institute. In Shanghai, Shaun, Rein, the founder and managing director of the China Market Research Group. And in Boston, Nader, Habibi, professor of practice in the economics of the Middle East at Brandeis University. Thank you, all three of you, for joining us on the programme. Let me start with you, Shaun, there in Shanghai, and ask you about the impact the war has had on China. Let's take it piece by piece, a cost-benefit analysis for China of the war, economically and politically. Let's start with the economic position. Has China done well out of this war or badly?
Well, it's great to see you again, James. So first off, in the short term, China has definitely done better than any other nation in the world when it comes to the Iran-US tension. And the reason is that China, for about 10 years now, has been de-risking from the global energy supply chain. So right now, they generate 2.5 terawatts of energy from solar and wind power. They're also sitting on 28 billion barrels of oil in the Daqing oil fields in the northern part of China. So right now, James, 84% of China's energy comes from indigenous resources. So yes, they are importing LNG. Yes, they are importing some oil from the Middle East. But at the end of the day,